From Kelleher Field in Marlborough, Massachusetts, it's the EFL on ABT, the 1992 playoffs, as the Marlboro Shamrocks host the Ocean State Buccaneers. Hello, everybody. I'm John Horrigan, joined by Pete McGowan. And Pete, first of all, this expansion, fledgling Rhode Island team, the former Rhode Island Rhinos, now the Ocean State Buccaneers, their first trip to the playoffs, and they got to come to the House of Doom in Marlborough. Now, a big chore.
Well, John, that's the way it's set up. The first team will play the 8th team, the second, the 7th, and so on down the line. And Rhode Island, as you say, has the task of playing these first-place Marlboro Shamrocks, who are a heck of a ball club.
What a cheap defense, too. 6 points in the last 6 games, 4 consecutive shutouts. Long night.
Sure will be. Well, you know, Rhode Island does have Jeff Hatch. He's one of the leading passers in the league.
Rushers.
Well, checked out the rushers, but the quarterback, McGillis, McLucas, check that. He's one of the leading passers in the league, but the one thing is he has sacked a whole bunch of times, and Rhode Island has to stop Marlborough's pass rush.
Yeah, well, you said that about Jay McLucas. He's up among the top 5 in passing in the Eastern Football League. Unfortunately, his counterpart is the most valuable player, Dave Palazzi, who's had just a grand year.
Dave Palazzi, and he has the people to throw to, and Greg Moore, and Frank Fay is always a threat to come out of the backfield as a pass receiver. He's a great running back, too.
And, of course, Skeeter Bolio, the leading receiver in the league. On the other side of the ball, well, you said that the key is to protect McLucas, who's been sacked 23 times, from the fearsome Marlboro pass rush that's led by the likes of Morrissey, Heindel, and Dory. But if you look at the Rhode Island side of the ball offensively, they've got the league's leading rusher with Jeff Hatch, but they've got 2 fine receivers in Willie Casey and Vince Spencer. So if McLucas is going to be successful, he's got to get the ball off quickly when he passes.
He sure does, John, and the receivers have to get open, as Marlborough's secondary is a good defensive secondary against the pass back there, and they have to get open in order for McLucas to throw to them.
We're going to see some excellent place kicking as well with John Toyas, who led all kickers in kicking, and he's a great punter as well, and John Geyer for Rhode Island. And we also have some explosive punt returners as well, as we have Greg Moore from Marlborough, and also Jeff Hatch and Kevin Briggs for Rhode Island.
So that's just another cog in the asset of the Marlboro Shamrocks. They do have those explosive returners, and the special teams men have a great time at it as Toyas. We saw him kick one, 44 yards this year?
Easy. I think a 47-yarder as well. So why don't you go to the fridge, get something to eat, and we'll be right back with the opening kickoff right after this. You're watching
the EFL on ABT.
Okay, we're all set. From Kelleher Stadium in Marlborough, Massachusetts, it's the EFL on ABT, the 1992 playoffs, as the Marlboro Shamrocks host the Ocean State Buccaneers. Hello, everybody. I'm John Horrigan, joined by Pete McGowan and our cameraman, Damone Nobile. And Pete, tonight, for Rhode Island, it's going to be a long night, and they've got to get on the scoreboard early and often.
Well, that's just it, John. This Marlboro team is known to come out about 20 points in the first half at least, and Rhode Island's going to have to stop them on offense and try to put some points up there. Stop the Shamrocks, of course, and put some points up there. They do have an uphill battle as we speak, as we start this ball game.
They have 11 players named to the EFL All-League team, but among the categories that Marlboro leads the league in are offensively first downs, passing yardage, total yardage, points, and touchdowns via the pass. Defensively, Marlboro leads the league in pass defense, total yards allowed, and points allowed. They've only yielded 5.9 points this year. And as we mentioned in the open, they're coming off 4
punch on the offensive slate, but you mentioned the defense is right up there in top categories in the league as well.
Well, their left defensive tackle, Kevin Morrissey, was named as a first-team All-Star, and rightfully so, because Kevin finished with 6.5 sacks, which was good for 4th in the league. On the other side, defensively for Rhode Island, they've got Chris Torham, who had 6 sacks for a total of 63 yards lost. But defensively, Morrissey is a first-team All-Star. They've got Larry Dory, who is a second-team All-Star at his position. And then Sean Linehan, who was a second-team All-Star as a linebacker. So they've got a number of players on the defensive side of the ball that can really lay some hurting onto the ball carrier.
Precisely, John. Jeff Hatch was the top rusher in the league for the Rhode Island State Buccaneers. He had a bunch of yards this year. So he's got to have some holes opened up for him, obviously, and this Marlborough team is used to playing against the run, and they fill those holes quickly.
So we're getting set for the kickoff. Let's look at these clubs, the infrastructure of these two clubs. The Marlboro Shamrocks are owned by Bob Kays, owner of the Marlboro Prospector. And right now, let's rise for the national anthem. And we're set for action in a preliminary playoff game for the 1992 EFL playoffs. The head coach for the Marlboro Shamrocks is Bob Brennan in his second season. He won the title in his rookie year. His offensive coordinator is Bill Lafreniere. Jim Attaway is the defensive coordinator. For the Ocean State Buccaneers, the owner is James Germano. Their home field, McCoy Stadium Annex in Pawtucket. Their general manager is Ken Foley. Their head coach is Joe Calzretta, who's in his second season. Their associate head coach is Wayne Samarian. He handles the linebackers and defensive line. Their offensive coordinator is Kevin Sheeran. Their offensive assistant is former New England Patriot Mosi Tutupu. Dave Paganetti handles the offensive line, and the trainer is Paul Higgins. Marlborough will receive. Deep for Marlborough is number 29, Waldy Clark, and flanked to his left is the explosive Greg Moore. John Geyer will kick off for the Ocean State Buccaneers, wearing their black jerseys trimmed in red and white. Marlborough in their white jerseys trimmed in Kelly green. We're underway here in the opening quarter. Moore backpedals to his 4. Across the 20. He's got some speed through the 30. The 40. At midfield. Somebody's got to get him. No, sir. 96. Well, he's brought down at the 6. Oh. A 92-yard kick return.
No flags on that one, John. It looked like there might have been an illegal block down there, but that was not illegal. There was a nice block put on to open up things for Greg Moore, put him into some open field, and he returned the ball 90 yards, John, all the way down and deep into Rhode Island.
First and 10 for the Shamrocks from their 11. Unbelievable. Dave Palazzi, a shovel pass straight ahead to Frankie Fay, and he is stacked up. So they try to get to Fay. He loses 5 yards on the play. That'll bring up second down for Marlborough. Let's go over the Marlborough starting lineup. The center is Mike Balzerini, a first-team All-Star. The right guard, a second-team All-Star, Eric Starr. The left guard is Ed Perkins. The right tackle, first-team All-Star, Chris Porter. The left tackle, second-team All-Star, John Benzinger. The tight end, Mike Sloan. The wide receiver, Greg Moore. The quarterback, number 1, first-team All-Star and MVP, Dave Palazzi. The tailback, second-team All-Star, Frankie Fay. The flanker, Skeeter Bolio, first-team All-Star and offensive MVP. Palazzi looking for the diving Skeeter Bolio, and it falls incomplete. That will bring up third down. Continuing the starting lineups, the fullback will be second-team All-Star Rob Lambert. Defensively for the Ocean State Buccaneers, the nose guard is second-team All-Star John Gallo. The right defensive tackle is Paul Choquette. The left defensive tackle, Keith Carney. The left outside linebacker, Greg Ballerino. The right outside linebacker, Chris Torham. The left inside linebacker, Jay Marshall. The right inside linebacker, Darrell Davidow. The right corner, Roger Jetty. The left corner, Doug Haynes. Palazzi in trouble. He's going to be sacked. The sack made by Jay Marshall, the left inside linebacker. Finishing the defensive lineups, the strong safety is Randy Hopkins and the free safety, Jim Amaral. Boy, Pete, he lost 10 on that.
Big hit on the play down there, Johnny. Marshall came flying in from his linebacker position to get into the pocket of the quarterback, and John Toyes is on. He's going to be trying a field goal here, Jack.
Holding for John Toyes will be Rich Flecka. Toyes this year, place kicking was 4 for 8 on field goals. The kick is blocked. It is blocked, a 44-yard attempt. It was blocked on the play by Rhode Island's left outside linebacker, Greg Ballerino.
Ballerina getting back there and blocking that kick, John. Rhode Island State Buccaneers dodge a bullet here on the first possession of the ball game as Marlborough was deep in their territory, and the big sack made by the inside linebacker, Marshall, and then the block kick gives the ball to the Rhode Island State Buccaneers, 1st and 10.
Jay McLucas working from the shotgun. A long staggered count. The lefty quarterback steps up and throws out to Jeff Hatch. He can catch the ball as well as run with it. He is knocked out of bounds at the 40. It is a gain of 8 yards for Hatch. Starting offensively for the Rhode Island Ocean State Buccaneers, the center is Brad Carney. The right guard is Bubba Cruz, a second-team All-Star. The left guard is Harry Harrop. The right tackle, second-team All-Star John Burhart. The left tackle, Mario Didino. The quarterback, Jay McLucas. The halfback, first-team All-Star Jeff Hatch. The fullback, Mike Waters. The split ends, Vince Spencer. Willie Casey is the flanker. Now Lucas throwing long and is intercepted by Steve Cavallo. Cavallo with a nice return here. Flags on the play as he is brought down at about the 48. It is an interception return of 30 yards.
Steve Cavallo made a nice interception and run back on the play, John. Another nice block put on by the Marlboro Shamrocks to free him up and give him some more return space on the interception. Jay McLucas just kind of threw that one up for grabs, and Steve Cavallo was right down there, John. He made the interception. There's flags all over the field. There's a penalty on the Shamrocks. It's a clipping call, blocking below the waist, so that's going to back them up. But they do get possession here on the turnover. First down and 10 for Marlborough.
Well, here comes Cavallo off under his own power. This secondary is tremendous. The way they force turnovers for the Shamrocks. The Shamrocks will start out 1st and 10 at their own 34-yard line. Dave Palazzi this year, here's MVP statistics. He threw for 52%, 1,693 yards, 18 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and he was only sacked 12 times. It is 1st and 10. Palazzi, as you'll see quite frequently, works from the shotgun. He's looking Bolio's way. Bolio makes the catch. He goes down the sideline, still in bounds, and he goes in for the touchdown. Skeeter Bolio goes 66 yards. Who my?
Randy Hopkins had a shot at him. Skeeter Bolio came back on that ball, John, and he made the reception, and a couple of defenders were frozen. They thought the ball was out of bounds, but Skeeter Bolio tiptoed down the sidelines and kept it in bounds and ran it in for the touchdown with 11:50 left to go in the game. The Shamrocks get on the board first with a 66-yard touchdown pass from Palazzi to Bolio.
Good crowd here tonight, about maybe 700 people taking on the game. Rich Blecker will hold for John Toyas. The kick is up, and it is good. So it is 7-0 with 11:50 to play in the first quarter. Toyas this year, 25 out of 29 he hit on the point after touchdown. It's 7-0, Pete, and right away Rhode Island finds themselves behind the 8 ball.
Well, they're lucky that on the first possession by Marlborough that they didn't score. The Shamrocks made sure they didn't make any mistakes on that one. As Skeeter Bolio came back on that ball, John made a nice heads-up play and then tiptoed down the sidelines, and there were 2 Rhode Island defenders back there, but Skeeter Bolio is stealth kind of reception that he has made this year is what made him offensive player of the year, and he just is showing the reason why here in the playoffs. You watch the EFL playoffs on ABT.
Pete, Doug Haynes was all over him. Do you see the way he just plucked that ball out of the air? Haynes bumped him. He should have gone out of bounds. But he stayed in bounds. Then he should have fallen right in his face, but he didn't. He got up and ran the distance. That is why he is the offensive player of the year this year in the Eastern Football League. John Toyas will kick off deep for the Ocean State Buccaneers. Number 2, Jeff Hatch. And number 25 is Doug Haynes. 7-0 here, Marlborough. On their quest for back-to-back EFL titles, they're looking for their 3rd Eastern Football League championship in 4 years. It's a high, short kick. Backpedaling to the 21-yard line is Mike Waters, the big bruising fullback. He has a return of 11 yards. Defensively for the Marlboro Shamrocks, the nose guard is Scott Luminello, the left defensive tackle, first-team All-Star Kevin Morrissey, the right defensive tackle Larry Heindel, the right outside linebacker Ken Fartucci, left outside linebacker Chuck Eck, the inside linebackers Carl Hume, and also Larry Dory. In the secondary, you have Cavallo, Gemma, Clark. And the pass is incomplete.
In and out of the hands of the intended receiver down there, John. Hit him right on the number. Bad place to hit him on the pass there. It was incomplete. It's going to make it 2nd down and 10.
Boy, I'm having trouble setting these starting lineups for you. There's so many number changes. You have to understand when you go through an Eastern Football League season, your jersey gets torn to shreds, and eventually it's just a rag.
That's right, John.
So there's a lot of players changing numbers here. So it is 2nd down and 10. McLucas working from the shotgun. Steps up. His pass is complete to Vince Spencer. And Spencer has the first down as he picks up 13 yards on the play. That is the first down for the Ocean State Buccaneers. Spencer this season receiving had 19 catches for an average of 17.7 per catch and 4 touchdowns. The stats on McLucas this year, he threw for 45% for 1,358 yards, 12 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, and as Pete mentioned in the open, he was sacked 23 times. So he works from the shotgun once again. It's 1st and 10 for Ocean State from their own 46-yard line. Now here's the big fullback Waters, and Waters loses about a yard on the play.
It was a good play in there by Larry Heindel, John, keeping his center of gravity low to the ground and got into the backfield there and made the hit on the big fullback. Looked like Waters down there, and Larry Heindel just put a stop to that for no gain on the play. 2nd down.
2nd and 10, Pete, from now the Ocean State 45. McLucas once again from the shotgun as he has double wideouts to the near side, a lone split end to the far side. McLucas throws for Jeff Hatch, and Hatch can't find the handle. Oh.
John Stickham has been outlawed in the EFL here, and down there on the play, a little Stickham there would have helped out on that play.
Oh, George Murphy, I guess, Bandit, who's the official tonight, he said, you know, I don't mind Stickham, but when I went to put the ball down and I'm walking away, I noticed it's still stuck to my hand. Because then it has to go. So it is 3rd down for Ocean State as they work from their own 45. Spencer comes wide to the near side along with Hatch, who lines up as a wideout. McLucas' pass here is complete for the first down. The pass is complete, I believe, to Willie Casey.
Willie Casey on the pass completion gives the Rhode Island State Buccaneers, Ocean State Buccaneers, a first down here, John. So they're moving the ball. A couple of nice passes and catches over here are moving this Rhode Island team down the field. It's first down now for the Buccaneers inside Marlborough territory.
First and 10 from the Marlborough 44-yard line from the shotgun. Handoff to Waters, the fullback, who loses his footing. Well, you can't blame that on rain. We've had some beautiful weather the past week. He loses about 3 on the play.
He's lucky to hold on to that ball, John, as it looked like it might have squirmed a little bit loose. There's a 2-yard loss on the play. Good tackle in the backfield put on by one of the Marlboro linemen. There's a timeout on the field taken by the Shamrocks.
Let's look at some of the statistics while we have a chance. Pete's going to be going over the final league standings in a moment. Randolph had a makeup last night, even though the playoffs are going on to complete the EFL season. Marlborough this year had led the league in first downs with 138. They were fourth in rushing with 1,277 yards, first in passing with 1,823 yards, and first in total offense with 3,100 yards. They led the league in points with 253 for a 25.3 average. They were last in the league, though, in fumbles. They do not give up the football, and they were first in touchdown passes. Defensively, the Marlboro Shamrocks were second against the rush, only allowing 78.6 yards per game, but they were first against the pass, only allowing 76.4 per game. They only allowed 155 yards per game this year and only 5.9 points. So this is the premier defense in this league. So it is second down, and we'll call it a long 12. Ball being snapped from the 46. McLucas now comes up under center for the first time with a long and deliberate count. Heavy pass rush. Steps up. He's in trouble. Dumps it over the middle, and the pass is complete. I believe the pass is complete to Vince Spencer. Once again, Spencer with his third reception of the night, and it should be a first down. It is.
About a 12-yard gain on the play, John. Good enough for the first down. Spencer over there made a nice reception. He was on his knees, but he came up with the ball. Couple of nice catches made by Spencer, putting some momentum into this drive of Rhode Island.
Rhode Island with 3 first downs. It is first and 10 now from the Shamrock 33. Handoff goes to Waters, the big fullback. Strings it to the out.
Deep in Marlboro territory.
Well, the league's leading rusher, Jeff Hatch, has yet to get the ball, Pete. He's been lining up as a wideout every single down. It is first and 10 now from the Shamrock 19. McLucas is going to be sacked. This is Ken Bartucci who hits him.
Bartucci, untouched over there, John, came from the right side of the defensive line. He didn't even get touched down there, and he made the sack on the quarterback for a loss of 7 yards on the play. With 7:16 in running left to go here in the first quarter. You're watching the EFL on ABT.
So it is second down and a long 17 yards. Ball being snapped, this time from the Marlboro 25-yard line. McLucas working from the shotgun again. The southpaw steps up, throws, and the pass is complete. This is Casey now. Casey straight arms a tackler and dives down to the 15.
Casey made a nice move after he got the ball, John, but it was the wrong way. It looked like Carl Hume went for the ball on that one, John. If he had made the interception, it would have been a long run for him, but a nice catch over there by Casey, and then he had a little bit of a run for himself, but he went backwards, the wrong direction. It's going to make it third down now.
Ocean State is 1 for 1 on third down conversions. The handoff is to Hatch. Well, the handoff goes on that play to Dana Rodriguez. He gets down to the 15.
Rodriguez stood up right as he got to the line of scrimmage. Looked like Larry Dory had something to do with it down there, John. It makes it a fourth down situation for the Ocean State Buccaneers. It looks like the field goal unit is on the field.
John Geyer, 2 for 5 on field goal attempts this year. Holding for him will be Jay McLucas, the quarterback. Geyer finished 5th in place kicking in the Eastern Football League. But right now they want to take a timeout. As Joe Calzaretta wants to talk it over, they may go for it. They want to shift in some offensive linemen, but you've got John Toyas on for Marlborough, who is a first-team All-Star as a kicker and second-team All-Star as a punter. He's a dual threat. But Geyer is a versatile, too. He's a punter and a place kicker as well. He had 15 points this year.
Well, the coach took a timeout over there, John. They might have had the fake play put in there, but now they're going to go down tell exactly what they want to do here. As I see the quarterback for the Buccaneers, McLucas, coming back in. So he's either going to do the holding or do the coaching down there. They're going to go for the field goal. So it's going to be a 31-yard attempt.
McLucas will hold for Geyer. Marlborough saying watch for the pass. It's a 31-yard field goal attempt. High snap. The ball is down. The kick is up. And it is good. So with 5:34 to play in the opening quarter, the Ocean State Buccaneers get on the scoreboard with a 31-yard field goal by John Geyer.
John Geyer closes the gap. 3 points. Closes the gap 4 points with a 3-point field goal, of course. 5:34 left to go here in the first quarter. So Rhode Island gets paid off for a good drive down the field. They had a couple of first downs and a few pass completions down here, John. They were moving the ball pretty well. 5:34 left to go in the ball game. Left to go. Check that. Sorry about that. First quarter. They haven't changed the score yet. As they're going to be doing it soon, I'm sure. The EFL on ABT.
So Rhode Island is on the scoreboard. This year, we'll go over the Rhode Island statistics for you. They averaged, they only gave up 10.8 points per game this year, which was fourth in the Eastern Football League, and they averaged 18.3 points for it, which was good enough for fifth place. Wally Clark is deep for Marlborough, number 29. Flanked to his left is number 2, Greg Moore, as John Geyer is set to kick off. 7-3 here in this preliminary round of the Eastern Football League playoffs on a beautiful early October night here in Marlborough. What a pleasant night for football, huh, Pete?
Oh, it's a great night. Summer League football. You watch it on ABT. It's getting cold now as the fall is setting in, as playoffs are about in the Eastern Football League.
Game time temperature 73 degrees, a ceiling of 1,300 feet, relative humidity at 65%, the wind blowing from the west. The weather courtesy of Damon, our cameraman. Wally Clark from the 8-yard line bursts across the 40. Midfield. Down the sideline. Oh, he's on fire. Stutter steps his way. Touchdown. A 92-yard kick return by Wally Clark. It's 13-3. Humai.
Wally Clark, a big run back down there, John. He just turned on the Jets once he had that little bit of opening, and see you later. That man, I'm sure, runs a 4.0 40-yard dash. Nevertheless, it's a 92-yard return for the Marlboro Shamrocks. 6 more points. John Toyas is going back on the field. That didn't take too long.
Yeah, it took 14 seconds from the field goal, Pete. We've seen an opening kickoff was taken back 90 yards by Greg Moore, and poor Greg tripped up at the 11. But now Wally Clark goes 92 down the right sideline. He was the flash there, huh? Had wings on his feet.
Incredible down there, John. Looked like, I forget who it was, the Greek god down there. Remember, he had the wings on his shoes. Mercury, thank you. There's a flag on the play. But the layup game, you would have thought that Rhode Island might have been a little bit alert of that, and it seemed that Marlborough had them blocked off and opened up a nice little hole for the back to run right into. And when he got that opening, he just turned on the Jets and ran it right in there. It's a big 92-yard kickoff return and touchdown. John Toyas on the field to do the kicking. Rich Flecker will do the holding.
It'll be a 25-yard extra point attempt. The kick is up, and it is good. So, with 5:20 to play in the opening quarter, Marlborough has a commanding 14-3 lead.
Waldy Clark, though, John, he really could motor that ball down the far sideline, and he looked like he might have been corralled right as he got to about the 30-yard line. One of the Rhode Island State Buccaneers was not back there, and he couldn't make the stop as Clark was just going too fast for him, and he marched it right in there.
John Toyas was tied for the league in point after touchdown. He's got 2 tonight already. He's 27 of 31 on the season. So once again, Rhode Island will receive. They send Jeff Hatch, number 2, deep, and flanked to his right is number 25, Doug Haynes. Marlborough. They want nothing to stand in their way this season. Trying to defend their 1991 EFL crown. And the way they've been playing as of late, they really don't have much to worry about as far as that goes, because whoever's going to stop them has an immense task ahead of them.
Well, exactly, John. Last night, Randolph beat Medway to finish out the season. They beat Medway 19-3. I'll tell you how the league goes after this. Toyas' kick.
Oh, it's a high rainmaker. Haynes backpedals to his own 8. Across the 20, he's in big trouble. He gets free. Hurdles one tackler. Finally, they get him. They had to bring a net out and a tranquilizer gun before they brought him down to the 24. Give Haynes a hard-earned 16-yard kick return.
Mike Kelly finally wrestled him down over there, John. He got bumped around, but he stayed on his feet. 16 yards. He earned those, as you mentioned. Good special teams coverage. It'll be first down and 10 for the Buccaneers.
Oh, the Shamrocks won their first EFL championship in '83, then they won it in '84, '85, '86, '88. Now the pass is complete to Hatch. Hatch avoids one tackler, is knocked down to 28.
Hatch coming back for the ball, John. He made the reception right about at the original line of scrimmage, and then a couple of nice moves put on down there by Hatch earned him about 4 yards on the play. So Billy Hatch, he did a good job the game. Jeff Hatch, yeah, okay, Hatcher's on the Red Sox. We won't talk about them. 4:19 left to go in the first quarter.
McLucas, they give to the big fullback Mike Waters, and he gets across the 30. Got about 2 on the play.
Waters wrestled down over there. That looked like Larry Dory territory. There's a timeout on the field. Looks like Larry Heindel is the injured Shamrock down there in the field, John.
Pete, why don't we take a look at some of the statistics this year for the Ocean State Buccaneers. They had 1,093 rushing, which was 7th in the league, 1,413, which was 4th in the league passing, and then 2,506 total offense, which was 5th in the league. They were 5th in scoring. They gave up a lot of fumbles, though, this year. They were 8th from the best in that department. They were the 6th most penalized team in the league. So it is 3rd down now, and we'll call it 4 yards. Rhode Island is 1 for 2 on 3rd down conversions. McLucas steps up. The pass was intended for Kevin Briggs, and it went off his fingertips. Well, that's a break there for Rhode Island because Steve Cavallo and Jeff Gemma were there.
It's a break for Rhode Island, but it's a break for Marlborough as well, John, as Briggs was coming across in between the linebackers and the D-backs, and if he had made that reception, he had a lot of open running room. It went off his numbers and his fingertips, and it went straight up in the air, but out of the reach of Cavallo and the other guy. It's a punting situation for the Buccaneers.
So John Geyer on to punt. And it's a short kick. But it takes a Rhode Island bounce. It goes off of Greg Moore's fingertips. It's a loose ball. And Moore recovers back at the 21.
Greg Moore, John, down there. The first thing you learn on a punt return, if you're not going to make the reception, get the heck away from it. And it touched Greg Moore, and one of the Rhode Island State special teams men was down there and tried to make the fumble recovery, as it were, and Greg Moore jumped on the ball to give the possession to Marlborough Marlborough's offensive team, but they're lucky on that one. 3:21 to go here in the first quarter.
That punt went for 48 yards. That is very unlike Greg Moore, who averaged 13 yards per punt return this year, including 1 touchdown. It is 1st and 10 for Marlborough. They have a 11-point lead, actually. If handoff goes to Frankie Fay, no place to go. He swarmed over. Fay this year, the league's 3rd leading rusher, with 538 yards, 4.9 per carry with 7 touchdowns. He finished 7th in the league in scoring with 42 points.
He stopped short on that play. Actually, he lost about 4 yards, John, as the surging Rhode Island defense got into the backfield and made the stop on Frank Fay for a 4-yard loss on the play. 2nd down now.
In motion is Rich Flecka. Palazzi rolls to the right, throwing for Bolio, and it was behind him. Bolio, the league's leading receiver this season, with 47 catches, an 18.3-yard average, 13 touchdowns. He also led the league in scoring with 78 points, but not there.
Bolio he looked a little bit open for a minute, but the ball was thrown behind him. He had a heck of a year, though, John, and last year I believe he was Player of the Year. Was he not offensively? I believe he was.
So, from the shotgun on 3rd down, Marlborough is 0 for 1 on 3rd down conversions. Palazzi airing it out long. This is Cox, and he has it. Cox puts on the brakes and is finally dragged down at the 25.
Eric Cox with a great run after a great reception. It covers a whole bunch of yards down there, John. It's 54-yard 3rd down conversion for the Marlboro Shamrocks. 54-yard pass and catch. Palazzi to Eric Cox, and Eric Cox made a nice move to come down there, John. He put on the brakes, but he didn't hear the footsteps of the other Rhode Island defenders back there. They corralled him and brought him down, but not until he picked up 54 yards. There's 1:42 left to go here in the first quarter. The clock is running. Palazzi calling the signals. Greg Moore is in motion from the shotgun. Palazzi
throwing long for Sloan, the tight end, and is batted down. Oh, a tremendous defensive play there by the free safety Jim Amaral, as it was intended for the big tight end Mike Sloan.
Mike Sloan back there, he was in the end zone. Ball was in his vicinity, but it was a nice defensive play made by the defender for Rhode Island. Clock is stopped with 1:28 left to go. It'll be 2nd down here, John. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, long first quarter. He's taking an eternity here from the shotgun now. Palazzi sends Frank Fay in motion. It's a bad snap, a loose ball. And Rhode Island recovers.
A broken play, John. That's a mistake that is going to cost you every time. And it's a turnover by the Marlboro Shamrocks. So Rhode Island dodges another bullet down here in their own end. Perhaps fate is on their side. Down here they take over. 1st and 10. There's 1:22 and running left to go in the first quarter.
Rhode Island's defense this year 7th against the rush with 1,087 yards, 3rd against the pass with 975 yards. They only allowed 206 yards per game, which was 4th in the league, and they only allowed 10.8 points. 4th in the league in sacks as well, but they get the ball back. 1st and 10. Jay McLucas steps up. The pass is underneath, complete to Casey. McLucas starting to find his target.
Casey, once again, John, he's low down on the ground, and the ball's thrown low down there, and Casey's made a couple of nice receptions. That one went for about 7 yards on 1st down, so Marlborough has to be alert and aware of the passing ability of this Rhode Island State team here. 2nd down.
2nd down and 3. McLucas is 7 for 10 passing here in the first quarter. Inside handoff, I believe that was Mike Waters, not Jeff Hatch. And Waters gets knocked backwards. He got back to the line of scrimmage, perhaps lost a yard.
Didn't fool anybody over there. He got lost down there in a sea of white, John. We couldn't tell who had the ball, as the surging Marlboro Shamrocks were all over that back down there and brought him down for no gain. We've come to the end of one quarter.
So we've come to the conclusion of one quarter of play from Kelleher Stadium in Marlborough. With the score, the Shamrocks 14, the Buccaneers 3. We'll be back with the second quarter right after this.